Okay, guys, welcome to week 10. We're going to get started right away. Just a quick reminder, recorded sessions are available as always on webvolumecontest.com. Make sure you're submitting results and interacting in the Facebook group, which for those of you that are currently doing that, that's awesome. I'm seeing a lot of very familiar names on the session here for people that are doing the challenges of the week and are actually interacting and doing all of that good stuff. So I'm just having a little bit of a technical difficulty here. Let me just check on how this is working. Okay, it says the web volume will, okay, hold on one second. Attendees, let's make sure we're good to go. Can everybody hear me okay? Give that a second. Audio is good. Awesome. Very good. All right. Making sure the control panel looks a little bit different. So I just want to make sure we weren't getting too deep into everything without being able to actually see or hear. Okay. So moving on. I did want to mention though, as I'm looking through the folks that are actually participating in our weekly challenge, and also taking a look at people that are submitting their results every week. Congratulations to you guys. You guys are consistent and you're the ones that are seeing results. That's really the only secret to success in this program or any other university major within our business or any other business for that matter. So take a look at the total results. One of the things I can tell you is that as we get through the contest, we get about half of the amount of people that registered that just stopped submitting results. And the interesting note that you should make about this is even though that's the case, we're still sitting around the same amount of appointments and plans being shown and website sales being made, and all of the results that are coming in are from probably the same 50% of the people that were truly engaging from the very beginning. It comes down to consistency. There's no such thing as being successful in sales without stick-to-itiveness and without follow-up and without persistence. And so I just want to remind that to everybody, congratulate everybody on the call tonight and everybody that has been consistent, and just remind you that the results are there. It's just a matter of follow-up. And so if you need some advice on that, we've done webinars on it. We've got a ton of people, ton of coaches, a ton of other successful web center owners that are on board that have been following up and may have tips for you. Make sure you guys are just asking questions because it really does come down to that. It also comes down to not relying on that one or two prospects that you think are just going to pop, and so you stop prospecting other people. Now, of course, you want to continue to pay attention to the one or two prospects that are in your funnel right now. Just remember that if you are, putting all of your success in that one prospect's basket, then you're just going to you're taking all of the control out of your own hands, and you have the control to prospect while you wait on other people's timing to be right. So just keep that in mind as you go through these last couple of weeks. We're entering right now the 10th week. So we've got 4 full weeks left, and 4 full weeks is a lot of time to do a lot of good stuff, especially toward the end of the year. A lot of families and employees are right now in holiday vacation mode, but business owners are in full-blown business strategic planning mode. So there is no better time of the year to be in our industry than right now. So don't wait. Don't use that as an excuse. Use it as your fuel. Understand the mindset of your prospects right now and use that to your advantage. And you're going to see that a lot of the success that you have really can come in the fourth quarter. So what we're going to do now is click play on our lesson of the week, which is all about networking at trade shows. So if you've been into that, there's a lot of indoor ones, a lot of bridal expos coming up and other really cool things. So we want to give you some advice on how to be successful within these. Welcome to week 10 of the MA Web Center's 12-week action plan. This week we'll be discussing more ways to expand your network by networking at trade shows. Now, trade shows are events that are held where vendors or business owners rent out booths so that they can attract new business for their businesses. Right now, because the vendors that are there to attract new business for their own business, there are some tips and best practices that we recommend that you follow so that you can network effectively at these events, but while also being very respectful of the arena that you're in. So we'll be discussing how to identify events that are happening in your area and how to research those events in advance so that you can be more prepared to network at that event. We'll also talk about how to plan to attend the event, the best tips for going at peak times, and different things to be aware of. And then from there, we'll talk about how to network effectively at these events without selling and without soliciting the vendors that are there. And finally, we'll finish up by talking about the best way and the most optimal times to follow up with the people that you meet at this event. So it starts by identifying good events or good trade shows that are happening in your area. So a trade show or a home show, for example, is something that you will want to plan to actually physically attend. So when you're researching these different events and these different trade shows that are happening, you want to make sure that they're happening within a distance that you would be willing to actually travel to and actually attend the event. That is the way that this works. So some of the most popular events or trade shows that happen are home shows. Home shows typically are comprised of contractors, home builders, hot tub providers, and other kinds of vendors that are geared toward homeowners. And so when you attend that kind of an event, you would walk around and you would see lots of booths of different small to medium-sized business owners that are looking to network and offer their services or products to homeowners. It's a great place to meet contractors. Other really great categories of trade shows that you could research would be fishing and hunting. So if you went to a fishing and hunting show, you might see boats, you might see fishing or tackle or bait providers, hunting, or all kinds of services and or products that are being marketed at that event. Flower and garden shows. Bridal exhibits are excellent ones. Bridal shows typically have caterers and photographers, videographers, dress providers, hair salons. Lots of opportunities to network and meet business owners when you attend a bridal show and you visit all of the booths and you meet the people that are running them. Now, that's another little tip to keep in mind. The people that run the booths at these events tend to be the business owner or people that are entrusted by the business owner to make some decisions or at least would have input in some decision making. So it's a really great opportunity to get face time with these people. Arts and craft shows, state county fairs. When you go to a state county fair, a lot of times there are vendors that are there and they'll have like little shopping sections, right? Great place to meet people. Dog shows, sports shows, boats, car shows, home builders associations, horse shows, table and vine or wine and cheese shows, firearms, collectors, or antiques. There are so many different categories of trade shows that exist, and you would be amazed at all of the different business owners that you can meet within these different events. Now, what's really great about that is when you're going to these booths, you have an opportunity again to get some face time with some great quality contacts within those businesses, and you'll get a foot in the door with all new possibilities of people that you may or may not have known in the past. So the next thing, once you've identified some great events that are happening, is to research that event in advance. If you take the time to research an event, you will be way more prepared before visiting that event. And when you're walking around, you'll know specifically what booths that you want to visit, what people you want to meet. Is this a really great opportunity or not? Does this look like it's got a lot of people that you even want to meet? Do you want to spend your time doing this? There's a lot of great information that comes from researching the event. So most trade shows or most events actually have a website. And on that website, you can typically find a list of different vendors that will be showing at that event. And that's actually one way that the event itself or the trade show itself markets itself. So this is kind of twofold, right? This is a website of an actual venue that hosts multiple trade shows throughout the year. Now, they have a website for themselves because, as you can see right here, there are several events or several different kinds of trade shows that are happening at this venue. So the venue itself needs a good website, doesn't it? Now, a few years ago, this website was pretty poor and it's actually been redeveloped, which is great. When you visit a trade show website, don't forget, don't just look for the people that are going to be showing at that trade show. Make sure you evaluate the website itself that you're on, and might you be able to offer some assistance there. If the website for the trade show itself is not great, then they are also a website prospect, just like the vendors that actually take out booths at the events themselves. But a lot of times you will find, again, a list of booths or people that will be at that show. You'll also find some social media, and sometimes you'll even find an event hashtag. So what's really great about finding if they have a social media presence is when you go there, a lot of times they will actually promote some of the vendors that are going to be there. Now, when for this particular one, when they actually promoted some of the vendors that were going to be at that home show that was coming up, they only shared posts of the vendors that were going to be there and that had a Facebook page. So I thought that was actually really interesting. When I clicked on some of those vendors that were being promoted by the home show, and I clicked on that vendor's Facebook profile, 9 times out of 10, I found that business was not doing a very good job at updating that Facebook profile or that business page regularly. So that actually became one of the questions that I knew that I wanted to ask, right? I wanted to make sure I asked them about their Facebook page because clearly they thought it was a big enough priority to create one, but also very clearly they would need some support in keeping it up to date. Now, the next thing that you want to do is you want to actually plan to attend the event. Like I said, you don't want to, I mean, it's not really a good use of your time to identify every home show that happens in the country because if you're not willing to go there, you don't have the opportunity to network. But some things to look for when you are attending shows are the pricing to attend that show. So typically, a home show or a trade show will have a price of admission, and sometimes they offer special pricing at different times. Usually, they offer lower pricing at times that tend to be very slower, which actually works in your favor for two different reasons. First of all, there's less of an investment for you because instead of paying maybe $15 to enter the event, you're only spending $5. So it costs less money to walk through the door. Second reason that works in your favor is, again, they typically lower the price during slower times. During slower times, you have more of an opportunity to meet business owners and talk to them, right? So you don't want to actually attend these events. If your goal is to network as much as possible, then you don't want to be attending these events during their peak times because the business owner is going to be busy answering questions to possible customers of theirs or people that are looking for information about their business. They're not going to have time to just stop and meet you or talk for a couple of minutes. So it's actually in your favor to go during slower times. And again, a lot of times it ends up to be less expensive thing to do anyway. So once you've done that, once you've decided when you're going to go, which ones you're going to go to, and when's the best time to go, make sure you put it in your calendar and you actually attend. Don't let these opportunities pass you by because it's an amazing opportunity where you've just got focused times of a room that's just filled with business owners and filled with possibilities and relationships that you can start. Now, when you do attend this event, it's very important to understand what you should do and what you should not do. All right, so first of all, consider the arena. The vendors that are there have invested time, money, and resources to be there, right? They typically paid $1,000 or more to rent a booth to be at that trade show. They've invested time away from running their business during regular business hours to be at that booth so that they can talk to potential customers of theirs, right? They've invested resources. Maybe they've done printing. They've purchased things to set up their booth. Maybe they have staff that's working at the booth with them. There's a lot of time, money, and effort that goes into running a booth properly at a home show. They are there and they invest that time, money, and resources because they are there to attract new business for themselves. And so it's very important. And by the way, in most cases, if not all cases, completely against the rules for you to walk booth to booth and just solicit the business owners at each booth. It is not fair for you to do that. And it's first of all, in most cases, like I said, it's completely against the rules, but it's also very unethical. You are not there to sell them anything. You are not there to sell them an appointment. You are not there to solicit. What you are there for is to network. You are there to make some connections and get to know people. And so you have to remember where that line is. Network with the business owners that are there. Introduce yourself. Ask questions about their business. Learn about their business. And then just simply exchange a business card or take something, one of the business cards off of their table, right? Now, that's really all you're there to do is just make a connection. Maybe ask a couple of questions if you can. And ask how business is going, that kind of a thing, and then walk away. You don't want to start selling appointments. In fact, that's incredibly rude. It's not very well received by the vendors that have invested a lot of time, money, and resources to be there. Now, when you do take a business card, when you walk away from that booth, I recommend that you immediately write down any notes on the back of the business card as you leave the booth so that you don't forget any little details that you can use when you follow up. Just like when you're talking to gatekeepers or you're talking with business owners and you're trying to be effective with follow-up, it's very effective if you can be very specific and personable here as well. And so it's important to remember the notes when you leave that trade show. If you wait until you leave to write down all of your notes, it's going to be a big muddled mess. You're not going to be able to remember all the details around every single person because typically you're going to be talking to 100 or more different prospects. Now, once the show is over, your next thing to do is to regroup and follow up. So you have to prepare for your follow-up. And you prepare for your follow-up by creating a running list of every single person that you met. Write their names down. Also, did you meet any of their employees? Make sure you write the employees' names down as well, because typically when you call, sometimes that might be the person that answers the phone, and it's a really good idea to be able to refer to the employee by their name, right? When you were there and you had conversations, what did you discover? Right? Did you happen to find out if business was going well? Did you happen to find out if they had a Facebook page or a website? Did you ask a couple of questions that you might be able to lead with when you're following up? The best time to follow up is generally about 3 days after an event, right? The first 1 to 2 and sometimes 3 days after an event can be pretty busy for a vendor because they are busy following up with the leads that they received, right? So if they were just at a home show for a weekend, they typically took in anywhere from 500 to 1,000 or more estimates that they now have to go follow up with and give. So just give them time to do that and don't interrupt them because you're going to have a very little chance to actually talk to them anyway. And again, this can vary if your conversation revealed some other information or specifics. Specifics are key. So if you found out that someone is looking for a new website, but they're not going to be even in that frame of mind to think about it until the end of the summer, then that's fine, right? Write that down at the end of, or the middle of August to reconnect with them then. If you found out that, geez, gosh, I really need to get this going right away. We're at the busy season and I don't want to miss out while I could be getting more business, then you better call them the very next day like you promised. It depends on what you discovered during the conversation. Now, again, you want to dedicate the time to follow up with all of your leads. Pick up the phone, right? Immediately drop that warm in, meaning tell them how you know them. Ask them how the show went, right? Show interest in their success. Did the show go well for you? Did you get a lot of new business? Do you have a lot of estimates that you can do? Let them know that, look, you only have a second. You're not on the phone right now to discuss the ins and outs of website development or social media management. You're just looking to schedule a time that's good for them. So you would say something like, hey, Bob, it's Sarah Rose. Listen, we met at the home show. How did that work out for you guys? Did you guys get a lot of business? Oh, great. Awesome. Listen, I only have a second, but I wanted to give you a call because you mentioned XYZ. So I wanted to know, do you have any time next week to chat about that? Okay, great. So how about Wednesday morning? Does that work for you? Okay, Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. I'll give you a call then. I'm looking forward to it. Glad the show went well for you guys, and we'll talk to you next week. All right, take care. That's it. Nice, simple stuff. You're focusing on selling the appointment, even in this scenario. All right, guys, so your target this week is to identify some trade shows that are happening in your area, and if you can attend one, go ahead and attend one. You might want to, if you do have one that you can attend this week, great. If not, keep this in your back pocket. But when you are networking at these events, please remember to write down every business owner that you met, the contacts that you met, their website situation, and any other notes that can help you so you can be incredibly effective with your follow-up. All right, guys, thanks again, and we'll see you for week 11. Okie dokie. 1 second, sending that over to Trista, and I will. Okay, why isn't it coming down? No, I don't want it. Okay, perfect. Oh my gosh. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to turn the presenter mode over to Trista. We're going to do this a little bit differently tonight. Rather than doing interview style, I'm going to go ahead and make Trista the presenter, and she's going to talk you through her case study. She's also going to share a video with you guys. So if you're not familiar with who Trista is, Trista Polo is the other half of Russell Polo, who you heard earlier in the season. She's incredible. She's been the Certified Web Center Trainer of the Year. She's been in the top 3 in the Web Volume Contest before. She's won numerous challenges. She's a local coordinator. They've sold well over 100 websites, earning in excess of over almost $200,000. I mean, total success. And I'm really excited to hear from her. She's going to be taking us through her client Barb's Butchery, which she'll also be presenting for us at the Northeast Regional Convention this coming weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to her. I'm going to let her do her thing and take you through the case study.
I am about to show my screen. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully you guys can see me.
Yeah, looks great.
All right, so I'm going to take you through a overview of my case study, which we're going to go right through these points here. And this is the client. Her name is Barb. Her business is Barb's Butchery. And she's kind of unique in that she's a woman butcher. She is all about locally sourced meat. She's all about bringing something really fresh and really good quality to the local area. And she's in Beacon, which is a up-and-coming and thriving community that's really all about local. So she brings locally grown to the local area. She's a local resident, and that's a really big thing for people in Beacon. So I was really excited to get to work with her, especially because I don't live in Beacon. So it said a lot to me that she wanted to work with me, even though I'm outside of the local Beacon area. I want to tell you first about how we met. It's kind of a funny story. I had a friend whose sister was getting married, and we went to the wedding. And, you know, when I go to a wedding, I'm always looking to make new friends. I am not there to prospect. I'm not there to recruit. I'm not there to sell websites. I'm not there to show the plan or to get customers. I'm just there to make friends and make connections. And so I was milling around, being chatty and friendly. It's the hat I put on when I go to a wedding. And it was so funny, you know, we finished eating dinner and the cake had been cut and all the festivities were heading, you know, along. And I end up at this awesome Sunday bar where you can kind of like make your own Sunday. So of course I'm going to get involved in that, right? Well, it was run really poorly. There were people coming in from all sides, crowding around. Nobody was really managing it. And I found myself next to this woman, and we just kind of started this banter about like who's running this thing, and all I really wanted was some cherry on top of a sundae, and you know, it just kind of became this fun banter. And then we were about to leave, and I went over to her and her friend, and I said, by the way, it was really nice meeting you. Here's my card. I'd love to keep in touch. I don't know if you have your information with you, but I'd really love to stay in touch because I just really enjoyed meeting you. Like, it was just really low-key. And it turns out that she was going to be starting a butchery. And she said, oh my gosh, I'm going to need a website, so we're definitely going to talk. So it started out completely social just to make new friends, and it turned into a potential web client. Now, did we do a 15-minute consultation? The answer is we absolutely did. It was more like 15-minute plus, though, because Barb is very passionate about being a butcher and everything that comes from doing that as a local business and sourcing the meat. And she just had so many amazing visions and ideas. And so we would meet actually regularly over Froyo so that we could kind of, brainstorm and talk. And it was really us building a friendship. I wouldn't consider myself her web guy or even her web consultant or internet consultant during those meetings. It was really just an extension of the friendship we had started, which just further solidified her thinking there was nobody else in the world she would want to work with other than me. So I really just made myself very valuable and important to her by listening and being part of her brainstorming process. And that was really fun for me because I found it very interesting to learn all about what goes into becoming a butcher. So as I said, we met a few times over Froyo. It really ended up being about a year-long process, but that was because she had to build out the store. She was buying a building. And so the process kind of went through the arc of her getting her business ready, because we met after she had absolutely decided to start her butchery, but before all of the construction and building purchasing had happened. So it's kind of fun to be part of that, and that's why it was such a long time that the follow-up happened. We ended up working with her because she liked and trusted me. She felt like I was an advocate for her business. We became a friend of hers. We got invited to parties at her home. We've met her husband, hung out with her socially. It really turned into a friendship. We used the design team. She wanted something that was going to be very sleek, very professional looking. She really wanted a beautiful home for her website. And so we used the design team because she did not want to be the one to build it, because she was busy building her, her shop. And she's going to eventually be using e-commerce. She'd like to have internet ordering so people can buy stuff right online and then pick it up on their way home from work. She's not currently using any of the additional products. She does a lot of her own stuff with social media, and she's innovating inside the shop. So her website is just built really well. She maintains it, updates it with weekly menus, and she just really likes that it's a great place for her clients. We haven't come to any new website sales from this website or this relationship, but I'll tell you what, she talks us up. She talks the website up. She's showing it off all the time as part of her business. And so I definitely see a lot of opportunity that's come our way that I see could really become some nice business down the road as we do that follow-up process. And then, she uses it for weekly menus. She puts events, raw dog food. We have an Instagram widget that every time somebody does a photo on Instagram with Barb's Butchery as the hashtag, it ends up on her website. So we have user-generated content showing up on her site. Another great way that there's always new and fabulous stuff on her site that she doesn't have to manage or maintain. So that's just a really quick overview. I think that the main points are, I met her because I put myself in an opportunity to make new friends, but I didn't go there with the intention of trying to sell anything or close any deals. I just went there to create friendships. I put myself in the way of new relationships, and through creating the relationship and building value with being a good ear and a sounding board and somebody that she considered to have valuable offers, to add to her whole process, it was a no-brainer to work with me. She would never have worked with anybody else. She would never have considered working with anybody else. As far as she was concerned, she was always going to do her website with me, and that just really came from building that relationship. I do have a quick video that I want to share. I have not done this before, but hopefully I'm going to press play and you'll be able to hear it. So here we go.
My name is Barbara Fisher. I am the owner of Barb's Butchery, a butcher shop in Pekin, New York. I haven't done too much advertising because I'm in my first year of business. So, but I think that the presence that I have on the internet has been really crucial to that. I advertise my lunch specials every week there. I advertise the current meat prices. I send people to the website all the time. There's an Instagram link for pictures that people can post, so I know that that gets populated with folks. I'm there all the time. I put a little note for me up once a week when I post the menu, just telling people kind of what's coming. I know people have called about Thanksgiving because of seeing stuff that was there early.
So you can see that Barb really uses her website on a regular, every single day, daily basis. And it really is a beautiful representation of her business online and something that she can make changes to, make updates to, and constantly keep current so that her customers always know what's going on. Her weekly lunch specials, her events that she's always having there, like her sausage tasting and stuff, it's all on her website, and people look for the information about her shop and what she's offering, the kind of meats she has, including the farms where the meats come from. So I think we did an amazing job at representing her shop. We launched her site along with her new business. So from day one, she had a really professional and easy for her to maintain and manage website presence that will support her growth. And she's been growing great. We had to cut a lot of what she said because there was like 6 minutes worth of her testimonial. But she talked about the fact that she hasn't done any advertising, but she's grown quite a bit in just the first year. And a lot of that is due to what she does in the community, but also her website. So that's all I've got for you guys. Thanks so much, Sarah, for allowing me to present this information about Barb's Butchery.
Awesome. Can you switch the attendee back over?
Yes.
Sweet. That's amazing. It's a
to.
really great testimonial, and I thought the video was really, really cool too. It's like so interesting to actually get a peek into their actual business on top of their website. That was really neat. So, I think while Trista switches this over, I will get the other thing set up for us, because what we're going to do is we're basically just going to bring it in for a close right now. We're going to pick our shop.com winner of the week. So I have all the names that have commented on the Facebook group preloaded into here. So I'll go ahead and click a random name. And this week, congratulations to Edmundo Castro Hernandez. You are this week's winner. And I see your name every single week, Edmundo. Every single week I see your name. I see Russell's, all of the names that are up here I see every single week, actually, and a few more. So keep up the great work, everybody. Thank you so much to Trista. You're so dynamic. I absolutely love listening to you talk, and I can't wait to ask you more questions on stage this weekend, along with Sue and Ray Yedman as well. We're going to interview a couple of people on stage and talk about that. But everybody that isn't going to the Northeast Regional, see if there's any meet-on events happening, because there's going to be a ton of incredible information. In my opinion, the regional events are they're so awesome for business building, because there's a lot of locals that we get to talk to about what's going on in your area, in your market, what's working, what's not, and it's just great stuff. So keep doing what you're doing this week, and if you're in the Northeast Regional, come say hi to us, ask your questions, and we'll see you there. All right, have a great weekend.